What's up, everybody, and welcome back. I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers, bringing you guys your daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor, and Atlas. Go ahead and check them out in the description to this video. They are linked there for you. So yes, Denver, we are back to you guys. I-25 has a potential to see large hail as well as some high winds and maybe even a tornado or two today. We're going to talk about that, but pretty much if you guys are in Cheyenne all the way down to like Pueblo, pay attention for the next 48 hours to your weather. Yes, we have more tomorrow. Day 2 is in store still for Denver. Cheyenne, you guys are in it as well, all the way down through Colorado Springs, Pueblo, that whole 25 corridor for today into tomorrow. We're going to talk about it all really quick. Amarillo, you guys also, or that whole area in West Texas, you guys do have a chance to see some hail today and then into tomorrow as well. It's kind of sticking to that front range area. And then we're watching the tropics. As always, we got updates on BRET and the disturbance and their chances of development over the next few days. So we'll get into all that at the end of the show here. But before our weather, don't forget our Atlas All-Stars Stadium tour that we've been doing this summer. This one is going to be in Philly, the next one, June 28th. So coming up quick here at the Citizens Bank Park. So come out and see our HailTrace crew here at the Atlas All-Stars Stadium tour, and then we'll update you guys on the next event location as that one comes up. So now getting into our overall pattern for the next few days. All right, so this is kind of what we're working with right now. We've got one low pressure system. It's very weak. It's cut off from the main part of the polar jet, but that is getting us some storms through the southeast and through Florida for today. But again, they're going to be pretty weak because this low is pretty weak, so not a lot of forcing with that. Then out in the Rocky Mountain West, we have another part of the jet stream that's kind of starting to sink down here through the far southwestern U.S. That's going to try to move off to the east. It's really going to start to weaken, but by 5 p.m., part of it will be pushing out a little shortwave trough, this little wiggle in that overall trough, and that's what's going to force those storms along I-25 tonight. Then into the next 48 hours. So for tomorrow afternoon, now we see that trough start to strengthen a little bit again. And so once again, we'll have storms along 25. Still got this low, just, you know, hanging out in the southeast. And that's going to kind of linger there until it gets pulled up into the main part of the jet stream. Then on Friday, all right, now we see the jet starting to try and strengthen, trying to sink down south by around noon. Not really going to make it, but it will leave this low pressure system that's going to swing off towards Minnesota. All that to say, there's a ton of systems in play right now. The bulk of them are going to sit out towards the Rocky Mountain West, so that's why we're getting more storms along I-25. Through Denver, through New Mexico, high plains again, and then into later this week, we'll see storms developing through the North Plains and making a run at maybe Minneapolis area into later on this week, early weekend out or timeline. So watching that guy into later. For now, sticking to the front range and high plains, all right? So if you guys are in Oklahoma City, we just got kind of hit with, it was sub-severe windstorm, wasn't too crazy, but got some crazy rain from that earlier. It's moving out, shouldn't be too severe. And then through the main part of our risk area here, nice sunny skies, nice and clear. Should start to see some storms developing through there, again, with that shortwave trough forcing those. Then up towards the Central Plains. Again, we've got more rain through the bulk of the Central Plains here, some thunder maybe here and there, heavier showers. That's not going to matter because out to the west, it's clear, it's sunny, it's beautiful through Cheyenne along the 25 corridor south. And so we'll get some storms developing off the mountains as they do and rolling off towards the east through those nice sunny skies with all that instability. Then down in Florida, totally different setup again. This is with that cutoff low. We've got a band of storms making its way onto the Florida peninsula here. Some heavy winds could be associated with that and with any of these clusters up north. Not really looking like hail right now. It's just too hot for you guys down in Florida, but could get some high winds out of that. So speaking of hot, check out those temperatures. 89 in Miami, 93 in Houston, 92 in Dallas. You guys are still under a lot of heat advisories, heat warnings, stuff like that. Down in Texas, you got those pinks developing on the map as we're pushing triple digits here on our temperatures. So watch out for that in Texas. But in terms of instability, that heat is working up towards the Colorado Front Range. See it making its way up north, 72 degrees in Denver, and it'll help us out with storms up north. So for the Front Range conditions, now we got those warmer temperatures. This is really key for the Front Range in storms. This is dew point temperatures, all right? This is how much moisture we have in the atmosphere. Storms need that. Colorado Front Range, you guys are known for being nice and dry and beautiful, but now we've got these 63-degree dew points, or mid-60s, working their way through Greeley, through Boulder, even pushing up above 60 in Denver proper. And with that, those 60-degree dew points are really what those storms love to get going, and we're starting to see those along the Front Range. So if you guys want hail, that's good news. If you're worried about hail, we're watching those dew points for you as well, and we'll keep you updated on your weather as it comes. So that heat, that humidity, that forcing all plays into this instability, and you can see we're maxing out here pretty much from Dodge City down southeast through Texas. Now if you guys are in East Texas, not really helping you out because again you need that forcing that's out west. We don't really have that out east. So unfortunate news for you guys in DFW that are watching that complex move down south. There is a potential that you could see maybe some severe gusts with it, but I'm not really thinking much hail as it tracks down south. But getting back on track to the Front Range here, we've got a decent amount of instability for you guys out there. So again, enough to potentially produce some large hail through there. All the way down through the West Texas Panhandle, we could see that large hail initiating by around 5 p.m. today. And then those storms are going to kind of eat away at that cape, at that instability, and we'll see what we can get into tomorrow. But starting out down south here for our forecast storms, got a couple that are pretty consistently looking like they're going to develop through the, eastern part of West Texas there, eastern part of the Panhandle. We're going to get these storms developing, and with those, large hail is possible. As those track off to the southeast, you'll see one kind of dive down, moving through like the Childress area here. That's got a potential to produce some gusty winds as well as potentially very large hail as it continues to sink down south. Now we see a complex forming as it makes its way towards I-20, towards like Abilene area, and then we're getting some wind as well as residual marginally severe hail as it tracks down southeast, and then making a run at Houston by tomorrow morning, but it should be starting to die off as it moves that way. Then up into the Front Range. So watching I-25, we'll have these storms kind of flicker on first, potential for large hail off of these. I'm particularly watching I-76 today for the largest hail. However, it's going to be pushing all the way up to the mountains pretty much today. So if you guys are in Cheyenne, seeing they've got those large hail producers, those isolated supercells, potentially developing in and around the city. Same for you guys with Denver. And again, there's the instability, there's the humidity, there's the heat. So if these storms can stay singular and roll off the mountains, there's a potential that you could get some very large hail. So there's our first round, initiating around 6:30 for you guys in Denver and Cheyenne, tracking off to the east, and then again along I-76 is when we really get going there with multiple storms developing and potentially producing that large hail as things move out of Denver. And then we got a whole separate line of storms developing through the Dakotas, potential for high winds off of those, as well as some marginally severe hail up that way as well. Then down in Florida, mostly just a wind risk for you guys. Here you are by 5 p.m. with Tampa potentially getting some heavy rain, as well as some showers making their way through Jacksonville. Should kind of spin around like that for the next, evening into tomorrow morning, and then still waking up just to some isolated showers here and there for your Thursday. So for today's hail forecast, keeping it centered here on the High Plains Front Range, and yeah, we got the purple on the map. It is possible that we could see some large hail up that way, and Texas, that's no surprise for you guys. Particularly down near Childress, I think that's where we could probably see the largest hail with that, again, isolated cell that's kind of starting to dive south through that area. So Childress, you got a high chance of seeing severe hail into today, and this whole area here along the eastern Texas panhandle could potentially see baseballs or larger, and that's going to be pretty scattered. But then moving down south towards San Angelo, got us a chance for severe hail into today, quarters to $half. Low end chance for San Angelo, low end chance for Dodge City, should be pretty scattered through those areas. Then on up into the Front Range. We got a low chance for, quarters to $half, anywhere from Bismarck down into Colby. Watching I-25 particularly, here's the thing. It's a large hail possible along 76 with those isolated cells. Through Denver and through Cheyenne, you guys have this kind of thing that meteorologists watch so often along the Front Range, where you got that setup that produces large hail. So you got to put you in the chance for large hail. But Denver and Cheyenne also tend to produce a ton of small hail. So just a high, super high volume, and you've seen the pictures of inches and inches of really large hail. So that could be the setup today. That's why we're leaving you in a moderate, but there is the potential with those isolated supercells, as always, to produce that large hail. So that's what we got for you guys in Cheyenne and Denver today. So for Denver's forecast specifically, you're going to have multiple waves. So you got a really long storm timeline into today through tomorrow morning, multiple rounds of severe weather moving through. But your max hail size, again, 2.5 inches is possible in Denver, but got to keep you in the low for aforementioned reasons. But whether you get a ton of small hail or some large hail, your chance of getting some quarters, maybe $half mixed in there either way is higher. So leaving you guys in a moderate for that. But watching out today for the Front Range, again, potential to see some very large hail out there. For wind, extending that all the way up through Minnesota here with that complex that's going to be tracking out that way, and including our friends in Florida for those severe gusts. But pretty much anywhere, again, from San Angelo, San Antonio even, up into Oklahoma City, could see severe gusts into today. DFW and Waco, you guys are in it now. And again, it's going to be with that complex that's going to be tracking down to the southeast. Potential to see a scattered gust up to 60 or 2. Better chances are going to be in Childress and in Abilene for this afternoon. Then on up into the Front Range. Cheyenne got a little more coverage, and things are banding up a little bit as they track over you. So moderate for you, but pretty much everybody else is in a low for the North Plains. And then through the Florida risk area, Tampa, Jacksonville, and Dothan, you guys are in a low again today. It's going to be very scattered, but again, a chance for some lawn furniture or whatever to blow around into this afternoon. Then into tomorrow, another shot for Denver and Cheyenne. So we'll see if today doesn't do it, we'll see if tomorrow can. Got one storm tending to form along I-25 through the northern suburbs of Denver by around 4 p.m. and pretty much everything going up right along I-25. Then as that tracks off to the east very slowly, we still get more storms developing through there, and Denver yet another shot. So you got one at around 4, you got one a little later in the evening, and then potential to see a third round tracking through into the late evening. So multiple shots at severe hail for you guys along I-25 into tomorrow. And because, again, they're isolated supercells, you got a potential to see some large hail as well as some high winds with that. So anywhere pretty much from the southeastern corridor of Wyoming all the way down into New Mexico could see severe hail, with the largest being centered again over the 76 corridor in northeastern Colorado. 2.5 inches is what's expected right now. We'll keep you updated as always. But Cheyenne into Denver with the best chances of seeing severe hail into tomorrow's risk. But if you guys are in Colorado Springs, Pueblo, or if you're in Kit Carson, Lyman, anywhere down east or down south into even Tucumcari, could potentially see some severe hail into tomorrow. For wind, pretty much the same risk area for you guys, and if you guys are in Cheyenne or Denver, still the best chances for you into tomorrow's forecast. But again, North Platte all the way down into Amarillo, so pulling it a little bit further east, has a chance to see some gusty winds with the remnants of those storms as they track out of the risk area. Now getting into the tropics. So we've got some things on the board. We've got West Africa, or yeah, I guess the west coast of Africa here, pushing off some disturbances, moving through the central Atlantic. We've got one here, and this is our disturbance. You can see it's more organized initially, and it's starting to kind of fall apart a little bit, moving out of its best conditions, and then you got BRET out ahead of it. So watching both of those into today, BRET looking much more organized into the past few hours than the one behind it, but we're still watching both into this afternoon. So here goes BRET. Starting to reach its stride, doing about 60 miles an hour right now, so severe wind gusts in the middle of the ocean here. As it tracks towards the Windward Islands, potential to get a hit from that with tropical storm force winds around 65 miles an hour by Thursday. If you guys are, vacationing out there, or if you live out there and you're watching us, hey, got a chance for BRET to be moving into your area by around Thursday. Then as it makes its way through the Caribbean, expecting to die out, it's going to have some wind shear issues that we'll talk about in a minute, but you can see those wind gusts starting to taper off as it tracks, south of Haiti, Dominican Republic, and then we'll see if it maintains itself any further east or west than that. Then for our disturbance, got a chance to see development on it. Again, it's starting to look a little less organized over the past few hours, but that doesn't mean it can't do anything. It's still working with, warm waters in the Atlantic and a potential to see wind shear decreasing. So watching that into the next 2 days, 70% chance of development for the next 48 hours, and then in the next 5 to 7 days, 80% chance for that. So keeping an eye on that disturbance behind BRET. We'll see if we get our sea name for our tropical storm. Here's our wind shear, all right? So on this one, you want to watch for the pinks. The pink colors, the bright colors, are where it's better for development for our tropical systems. If it's out in this blue, that's where we got that really high wind shear. That's what BRET is running into right now, and hurricanes, tropical storms do not like wind shear to develop. So that's why we're starting to see BRET taper off as it moves through less favorable conditions. But with this tropical system that's behind it, now we're going to see by Friday wind shear starting to decrease. So even lower shear, so even better conditions for development. So even though it might not look great right now, it could potentially over the next couple of days here, so hence that 70% chance. And in terms of heat, again, this is kind of our ocean cape, so how much energy those storms have to form. We're working our way into the low moderate values here through the central Atlantic, still not in the peak part of season, so we'll see these values continue to tick up over the next few months. But it is enough, again, to potentially get our sea-named storm out of that disturbance behind BRET into the next 48 hours. So that's what we have for the tropics and for our inland risks for hail, wind, and tornado. If you guys want to follow us, you can get us at HailTrace on everything. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Just hit See First on Facebook so you never miss a live video. And again, we do a lot of live coverage now on TikTok, so go ahead and follow us there. And it's very interactive. You guys can ask us questions and we can answer right off the bat. It's super fun, so go ahead and follow us on TikTok for that coverage. And if you want to get in contact with us, scan that QR code up above me or click the link in the description to this video if you want access to our products. We map every single severe storm live. So whether it's hail, wind, tornado, hurricane, we've got a team that watches it live, maps it live. So it's a great way to stay up to date with where severe weather is occurring and what kind as well. If you have questions about those products or have questions about your forecast, you guys can give us a call at 855-334-4245. Email us at info@hailtrace.com or check out hailtrace.com for more details. And Front Range, keep an eye out for your weather today. We'll let you know what's happening over the next 2 days here. But for now, I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers. Thanks for watching.